Right. My clock's ticked over to 12. So a shout out to all you active pipers. This is Craig and I'm joined by Cherie.
Hey
Um,
everyone.
yes, we have more than one expert at active pipe. Not that I'm putting myself in that category, but Cherie not only can talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles, but she will give you a really thorough understanding of active pipe, the functionality of active pipe, how to create emails, etc., etc. So my role today is firstly to introduce the session. So we've got 30 minutes, couple of opportunities for Q&A. I'm talking to you from Ballarat. So we've already seen that we've got people from Mount Maunganui, we've got people from Mongawai, Safety Beach. I'm up here in Ballarat, and as you can see, due to criticism last week, I have actually mown the lawns this morning to make them look a little bit tidier for you all. So we've gone to a lot of effort for this team. So this is called Mastering Email Marketing. So let's have a shout out from everybody who's joined us. Well, as many as want to, using the chat button. Just let us know where you're residing, where you're calling us from. Oh, we've got Matthew from Ballarat too. Hello, Matthew. We've got Auckland. We've got Orange. Okay, Professionals Orange. We've got Werribee people. We've got Ben eating his soup somewhere as well. We've got Renmark, Jurien Bay. It's fantastic. It's great. It's great to share this time with all of you active pipers. We do hope you get some value from it. Feedback has been good thus far. So let's continue with that. I'm going to share my screen in a minute, team. And this part of the presentation, I guess, just frames the conversation nicely. It talks to, I guess, the value of not only of email marketing, but also of, why you should be engaging with your audience more broadly. So I'm going to presume that everybody can see my screen now. So this talks to the value of nurturing your database. So the first point that we would make is retaining customers is 5 times cheaper than acquiring new ones. Yeah, it makes sense. And of course, at the moment, your single strongest point of securing new contacts, you're open for inspections, has been denied to you, right? New Zealand's in full lockdown, about to go to stage 4. Private inspections are the order of the day over here in Oz. So there's no open for inspections. So talking to your existing audience, the audience that you've built over the years, is really critical, right? And the numbers these numbers here just sort of round that out nicely. The median house price in Australia is $809,000 at the moment, right? That was in January of this year. The median in New Zealand was sitting at $615,000. The average commission rate at 1.9% means that the average commission for agents, Australia, is around about the $15,000 mark, right? So they're all big numbers, yeah? And to put that into some more context, the average property in Australia changes hands every 10 years. Now, that's unlikely to be terribly different in New Zealand, right? So with that in mind, if your office, or if you as an agent have 3,000 unique homeowners in your database, so 3,000 contacts with a property, then it's likely, isn't it, that in 10 years, all of those contacts will transact. So the total opportunity in that database is a massive $46 million, right? Now that's a really big number, and that's why it's in size 40 font, right? So over 10 years, $46 million worth for a 3,000 strong audience or database. Now, if we assume that 42% of your contacts will engage with your content over a 12-month period, and that's based on our average open rate of 30%, so we're talking about unique opens, then in a database of 3,000 property owners, 1,260 of them will be actively engaged with your content over a 12-month period. Pause there for a minute. Just wanted to emphasize how important it is to keep to keep nurturing the relationship with your database, right? Your existing audience. So in real terms, that's $19 million plus worth of pipeline being automatically nurtured by ActivePipe. So the automation takes care of those nice, professional, personalized touch points on an ongoing basis. A lot of what we're going to be doing with you today, and a lot of what Cherie is going to be focused on, is wrapping some more valuable content around what we do automatically. Just all that makes sense, right? So that's a nice framework to ActivePipe and the value, that the inherent value of your database, the inherent value of your audience, and why you should be engaged with it, right? And the Josh Fegans of this world at the moment are saying, you know, that what you do now, whilst we're in these challenging times, will ensure that we all exit this with some real strengths, right? So talk to your database. And email, you know, there's other reasons why email is valuable right now, right? It's efficient and it's effective. If you've got 3,000 people in your database, it's hard to get across all of those people with a phone call, right? And it's time consuming, but ActivePipe can reach them really effectively and really efficiently. People have time at the moment, right? They're like me, they're sitting at home. They're not as occupied, they're not as distracted, right? We've got an office of 50 people ordinarily in Melbourne. Well, there's not 50 people that are, you know, trying to take my time, at least not as easily as they would otherwise. So people have time. Vendors are starting to push for more off-market promotions, right? So email is really, really good at that. And what I'm told by increasing numbers of agents and principals is that people expect you to be communicating with them. And I'm told, for example, that phone calls are now not going for 6 or 7 or 8 minutes. They're going for 18, 22, 23 minutes, right? Because people are seeing you as the subject matter experts, and they're wanting you to reassure them. They're wanting feedback on the state of the market, what's happening with my property, et cetera, right? So email, again, is an effective way of communicating those things to them. So Cherie, once again, will cover some of that content. And look, it's valuable right now because, and here's a classic example. I was talking with the principal of a small boutique agency in Geelong, just to the south of Ballarat, and he said, Craig, I need to engage. I recognise that, you know, I've got 2,000 contacts. I need to engage with them, but I don't have the time of day I can't meet with them. I don't have the time in the day to call all of them. So communicating with them via email is where I'm at. So team, I trust that makes good sense, that it frames this conversation nicely. There is an opportunity briefly now to have a bit of Q&A. If that works for you, just use the chat button so that, you know, we can respond to some of those questions right now, or perhaps, you know, to some of them offline. So if there's any questions on any of that, fire them at us, and then we'll hand over to Cherie.
Just waiting a couple of seconds to see if there is any questions. Okay, guys, otherwise we'll move forward.
Move on.
Move on. All right.
Over to you, Cherie.
Thank you for that, Craig, for that great introduction. So now that you've got the why it's so important at the moment to send that relevant content, I'm going to give you a few tips on how you can create that content within your ActivePipe account. So again, if you've got any questions as we go, just submit them in that Q&A box. We'll try to get to them as we go. Otherwise, we'll have some more time at the end for some questions as well. So I'm going to jump straight in. You're looking at my dash at the moment, and I'm in the emails menu. So to create an email, the first step is to click create email. Then you get sent to your template section. So just choose a template and give your email a name. Click continue, and then you'll go into the email editor. So here up the top, this is what we've just called our email. You can edit the name of the email, Debbie Lee. So I've just created that email there. Now that's an internal reference only. So it's just something for you to refer back to. So it's not something that your contacts will see. They will see your subject beneath that. So make sure whatever you place in here is relevant. From there, you will see beneath that your base template. So here you can see as I'm scrolling over that it's broken up into panels. So you can add and remove and edit panels to suit your content. That's completely up to you. In terms of adding that content to your emails, it's as simple as choosing a panel from over here in the options on the right here and dragging and dropping it in. So as Craig's alluded to, content is really important at the moment, especially with not a lot of properties turning over or as many properties turning over. So I'm going to put in some articles first. So I'm going to change my heading to latest news. So when each of your panels are active, you'll have options for that particular panel in terms of text, if it includes text. You'll also have overall panel options here, so you can change the whole panel. So as I said, I'm going to skip straight down to the bottom here where we have some smart feed panels. So whether you choose a feature, grid or list, that's completely up to you. I'm going to drag and drop that in. I'm going to use a list. And then once that panel is active like it is now, I'm going to click on this icon here to take me through to the blog library. So here you can choose to search any RSS enabled blog feed or website and go and fetch the most recent articles from that. If you use anything regularly, once you've searched for it, you'll have an option to add it to your favorites like I have here for ActivePipe. And we've also preloaded some content for you recently, and you might have some specific brand related content loaded for you as well. But here we have 3 sources of really relevant content at the moment. To access any of that, just click on them and that'll go and fetch the most recent articles. So real content has been created by Kylie at Home Prezzo, and that's all available for you to freely share if you wish to. So once it's fetched those articles for you, all you need to do is click on the one you want to use and that'll bring it through to your email. So you can still edit at this point. For a list, I think this is a bit too much text, so I'm going to remove a bit of that just to make it short and sweet, and then your contacts can click on the read article to read the full thing. So going back in there to have a look at the second one, Connect Your Community is an ActivePipe based blog. So we're going to update that regularly for you as well with relevant content that your contacts are going to want to engage with. Again, just click on one of those to use it. And I'm just going to shorten that up a bit. And I'm going to add one more just with the plus. So really simple to make these additions as well. And have a look at the third one, which is the real estate voice. Now that's been developed with Partika. So again, it's a whole library of relevant content for you guys to use and share if you wish to. Now, in terms of the real estate voice, we have separate links for Australia and New Zealand. So yes, there will be relevant content for both our New Zealand clients and Australian ones as well here. So you'll see your particular link if you're in New Zealand. Okay, so you can see very quickly I've created some relevant content to send out to contacts within a couple of steps. If I wasn't talking, obviously, to be a bit quicker. Now, I'm just quickly putting a separator in between my sections just so we have a bit of definition. So there's a lot of formatting you can do in here and you can get involved with as well. But moving on from there, the second thing you might like to do at the moment particularly, just going to add another heading, is a video. So if you're doing more virtual tours or agent profiles, things like that, they're easily able to be added to your template here. So I've just scrolled down to the video panel and dropped that in. Once that's active, you can click choose video. So here we can connect your YouTube channel in your account settings, or you can in fact do that yourself. And then you can, it will pull through all of the clips from your YouTube channel. You do also have the option to type in a URL from another YouTube clip. So it doesn't have to be within your channel, but it does have to be a YouTube. We also have integration with Vimeo as well. Sorry, my home internet's taking a while to load this, but you can, like I said, load something outside of your channel Hopefully my internet's going to cope with this. How are we going so far? All making sense? So this individual one's taking a while. So for sake of making this a bit faster, I might just choose one of ours to show you how quick that is to pull in when your internet's working, when mine's not. So I'm going to change that to whatever you like. So if it was a virtual tour, I can pop that into the text heading there. So it's just loading. Sorry, my internet is not coping very well here. So the next important thing that you might want to include at this point in time is an off-market property. So your CRM may bring in your off-market properties for you, so you can access them in your property panels. That's the case with some CRMs, not all, but if they don't, you can easily create one. So I'm going to add another heading and a image and text panel here. And I will change that to an off-market opportunity. And then coming back to this panel and making that active, clicking on the house icon will take me through to my image library. So to upload images, it's simple as clicking that button, the upload image button. That'll take you to your local computer. You can select more than one image at a time and upload them to your account. Then once they're uploaded in there, you can use them. They'll be there for you forever forward unless you delete them. So once they're uploaded in your account, just click on one to pull it through to your template. At this point, you can crop your images or look at the proportions of it. So there's some options in here. So I clicked on that pencil icon if that was a bit too quick. And we have some proportion options here. So this might be nice as a pano. Just drag and drop that over your image and move your crop box to suit there. Then of course we need some text. So you can copy and paste that to make it easier. So within a couple of clicks, you can adjust this to a heading. So coming back up to the font options up here, the drop down here relates to your fonts. So the paragraph is generally your copy text, and then heading 1, 2, 3 will be usually in descending order. Your brand may be a little bit different. They're all custom built to your needs. So I'm going to make this one a heading 2, and I'm going to make that bold. Whoops. Make that a bold and put a bit of separation in here. And then I'm going to center everything. So you can see within a couple of clicks, I have a nice off-market opportunity panel as well. Okay, just adding another spacer. How's the questions going? Looking pretty good so far. Okay, then of course we can still advertise properties. So coming back down here to the property panels, these three here, the grid, list and feature are connected to your property feed. So I'll just add a heading. And we're going to drop in a feature panel, make this our feature property. Oh, and spell. And then if we come back down and make this panel active, there's two ways you can choose properties within the property panels. So with a feature panel, usually you would do that manually by clicking the house icon here. So that takes you through to all of the properties on your current feed. If you see the property in front of you that you want to use, just click on it. Otherwise you can search for one at the top. And again, just click on it once you've found it to bring it into your template. Here you can make some adjustments to your display. So if you would like to show a description with your image or with your details, click on the options wheel here in the panel options and over to the property details. And in the drop down, you'll see a whole range of other things that you can add to your details layout. So I'm going to add the description and click the plus to add that on. You can also reorder your items as well if you want to, then click save. So again, very quickly, I've created a nice feature listing as well. I'm just going to have a look at the formatting. So I've got some spacing here, just to, as I said, give our different areas some separation. My internet hasn't loaded the video, so I apologize for that. But coming back up to the top here, before we step into a preview, I want to quickly mention this panel, which was part of the template, is a really commonly used introductory panel. So it's a chance for you to introduce your content, and it includes, most importantly here, a first name placeholder. So for those of you that don't know, that is connected up here in the placeholder section to the contact's first name. So as your email goes out, it'll populate with the first name of each contact in your database to personalize your intro. So that's obviously important to increase your engagement and your personalization. So we suggest you keep that or place one in if you don't already have that. Down the bottom is a similar thing. It's another placeholder, but in this case, it's connected to your user details, so your agent details. Admins, if you're creating these emails on behalf of your agents, this is the way that you can create this email once and then send it on behalf of any or all of your agents in your group. So it'll dynamically populate with each agent's details as it goes out. In a similar way, this image will be connected by default to the sender's photo. So that will show the agent's photo there. So you can see, if I wasn't talking, this would have taken just a couple of minutes to put together. The important thing to note at this point in time is that you only need to do this once. Once you save your email, it's in there forever, ready for you to reuse, duplicate. You can keep using it. Now, I'm just going to show you the preview now that we've built it. So up here in the preview, we've got View Preview. Firstly, you'll see that how it's going to look on a desktop. You can also go over to a mobile responsive version. So you can check how it's going to look for everybody there. Then the most important part, save your email. So obviously after you've put all that together, you want to save it. Now at this point, that'll go back into your emails menu for you to access, like I said, from here forward. Then the second most important part, obviously, is getting it out to the right contacts. So here we're logged in as an agent. So agents, you can send directly from the email editor. Admins, all you need to do, you won't have a quick send button here. All you need to do is step out and go into the campaigns menu and create a quick campaign to attach this email to. So for agents in here, just click the quick send button after you've saved your email, and you'll see this pop up, which will ask you, who do you want to send this email out to, and when do you want to send it? So really simple. If you decide that is something here that's relevant to everybody, you can send to all contacts. However, if you do want to filter this down to particular groups, audiences, tags, contacts, that's very easily done by clicking on search for contacts, tags, and audiences. So in this case, I think my buyers might be interested in this. So I'm just going to start typing in buyer, and you can see that my buyer's audience has been suggested. So you just click on that to select it. I have some people that have been tagged as upsizers in my account. So I'm going to look for them and add them as well. I've also spoken to a guy recently who's not in either of those groups, but I think he might be interested in it as well. So I can add individual contacts to this recipient list as well. So you can do a combination of all of the above. So you can see how totally custom you can, or how much you can tailor your audience list in this way. So you can do this to reach the right contacts with the content that you've just created. So the last step is either, am I going to send this immediately, or am I going to schedule it for a date and time? If you think your contacts are more likely to read your emails on a Thursday afternoon, you can easily choose that from the date and time picker. And at that point, all you would need to do is click send, and your beautifully tailored, relevant content is going to go out to the right people for you. So I think we'll stop there. That's a lot of information. We'll stop there for a bit of Q&A. Raylene has said, if a contact is in 2 groups, will they get the newsletter twice? No. So we'll knock out any duplicates for people that are in both audiences or groups. The only way that that could happen is if you have the same contact in different user accounts. So they might get the same email from a different agent. That's the only way that could happen. Let's have a look. We got any more questions? I might take you through, I didn't actually touch on selecting properties or automating your property feed. So I'm just going to quickly drop in a grid panel and show you how easy it is to automate it. So you can drop in that grid, and then up here we have the auto feed toggle. If you switch that on, that automatically pulls through the properties from your feed in a default order, but you can control what that order is by going into the Define Properties button. And then you'll see a whole range of options that you can get involved with, from very basic ones, from how many properties you're showing in this panel, to the type of property you're showing in this panel. So if you've got off-market listings that do feed through to ActivePipe, that's where you can access them through the listing status. You can also change your order by. So this is, the default is your newest property to your oldest, but you could change it to your most expensive property first, or whatever you prefer from those list of options. You can get more involved with filtering these panels. So you can get into the Advanced tab and look at filtering by properties that have an event upcoming. So obviously not so relevant at the moment, but when we come through this, if you have an inspection or an auction within the next week, you can set this to show just those properties in this panel. In a similar way, you can do that with properties that have just been listed or sold or had a change. You can include just your agent's listings in a panel if you want to. You exclude hidden or undisclosed prices. This is where you can do that. And you can restrict your listings, so just show properties from a particular area if you want to for this panel. So if you want to showcase particular properties from an area in this panel, that's the way you can do it. You can also do it based on contact interaction. So this is where we can look at buyer requirements, so you can make this panel match to a contact's known needs. So you do need to know what they're looking for, so you have their price and bedroom, etc. Requirements. One thing to note here, it's great in terms of delivering relevant content to those contacts. If you choose more than one, it's going to filter it down further. So it's not an or, it's an and. It's going to match to their price and bedroom requirements. So it's going to reach less people, but it's going to be, the property is going to be even more relevant to what they've said they're looking for. You can also do, make this filter to locate or show properties that are located near your contact if you've got their address. So that's a bit of an introduction to the advanced filters. You might not want to get to that degree, but that is all available to you if you want to utilize them. Just having a look at some more questions. Is this sent out at a different time? Paul, you can send it out at any time you like. So as I said with quick send, so I'll just save that again so that I can quick send it. You can choose to send that whenever you like. So if you know that your weekly listings are going out on a Thursday, you can send this on a Monday. It's totally up to you. Let's have a look.
Cherie, there's been a question on accessing that smart feed, if you wouldn't mind showing that again.
Okay, we'll go back up to the top. Accessing it through the icon here. Now we have the 3 preloaded sources here, and all you need to do is click on those to go and fetch the most recent articles. They'll bring them through, or you can choose a different RSS enabled blog or website up the top and go and search for those as well.
Maybe even point back to the smart feed section of the edit options.
Yep, so that is based right at the bottom with the feature grid and list. So again, that's just a personal choice, whether you want to have a nice big feature like the feature property, or a group of articles with the grid or the list. Any other questions? I think I did mention that once these emails are saved, you can use them again and again. Some people will have access to recurring campaigns when to recur this email in a recurring campaign. Others may not have that option. So if you want this to recur, this is the area that you do that. You can repeat this schedule and choose when you would like that to happen or how often you'd like that to happen. So if you've got automated content in here that you don't want to touch, that's a way that you can set it up and off you go. But if you do have articles and videos that you want to update weekly, you just need to be aware of that and come in and update those before your scheduled regular send. Craig, anything else that's open?
Oh no, look, I think it's a wrap. We did want to keep as close as possible to the 30 minutes allotted for this. I think a couple of relevant points, and that was excellent, Cherie. There is a lot to cover, of course, and
there's a lot more
yes,
detail you can get into. So it's purely an intro. So we have a really extensive knowledge base. So for all those little questions not little, but individual questions you might have, this is a great resource for all those questions. So you can look up, how do I know if my blog or website is RSS enabled? You can look up a lot of questions in there. So that's just support.activepipe.com. The brand,
that's the Active Pipe Knowledge Centre.
Yeah,
folks.
the Knowledge Centre. Yeah. So that has a lot of training
and
videos
we now have
and
a help
as
button.
well.
Yeah, we now have a help button on our page. It's live chat with our wonderful support team. But I guess, Cherie, the thing that everybody will learn better from is actually getting in there.
Yep.
And having a bit of a play
yep.
around. You're not going to break anything, folks. Yep. And as long as you use that preview feature to make sure that what you're sending is appropriate, you're not going to get into trouble and send stuff that that your clients aren't interested in. So we'll wrap it up there, team. We will get to all of your questions. It has been a delight sharing this with you. We will have more webinars. Stay tuned for those. There will be different subject matter. Some of it will be repeated, but we're up for the support. We want to make sure that we all exit this strongly. So do use ActivePipe to communicate with your audience in a nice, effective, relevant, and engaged fashion.